You know how some football matches are just intense? Well, the Mackay versus Bremner clash wasn't just a physical rivalry, it was a moment of truth. Mackay had just come back from a broken leg, and Billy's vile tackle ruined everything for him. What did Mackay do next? Let's find out in this epic showdown of legends. Let's start with the legends themselves. Dave Mackay, a Scottish powerhouse, known for his strength, leadership and fierce tackling. Playing for clubs like Hearts, Tottenham Hotspur and Derby County, Mackay was a force to be reckoned with on the field. On the other side, we have Billy Bremner, another Scottish dynamo. Known for his fiery temper, skillful play and never-give-up attitude, Bremner made his mark primarily with Leeds United. He was a small guy, but his presence on the field was anything but. There was always tension, but the clash of these two titans reached its peak during the 1960s and 70s when Leeds United and Tottenham Hotspur faced off. But if I keep all the sugarcoating aside, this wasn't just about the teams, it was personal. One of the most iconic moments of this rivalry occurred in a match in 1966. It was a typically fiery encounter, with both sides going all out. During the game, Bremner tackled Mackay hard, leading to a hard confrontation. Mackay, never one to back down, grabbed Bremner by the shirt, lifting him off the ground and glaring at him with pure intensity. This image was captured by photographers and remains one of the most memorable snapshots in football history. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? It was September 20th, 1966, and Tottenham Hotspur was playing against Leeds United at White Hart Lane. The tension was through the roof, because these teams were going head-to-head in a seriously intense match. From the first whistle, you could tell this game was going to be rough. Players were throwing themselves into tackles, and nobody was holding back. It was classic, gritty football at its best, but no one was ready for what was yet to come. In the middle of all this chaos, Billy Bremner, who was known for playing hard, tackled Dave Mackay really aggressively. It was a rough tackle, the kind that makes everyone wince. Mackay, who had been through some nasty injuries before, wasn't going to let this slide. He got up looking absolutely furious and marched right over to Bremner. Without missing a beat, Mackay grabbed Bremner by the shirt with both hands and lifted him off the ground. Yes, you heard that right. He picked him up off the ground. The intensity in Mackay's eyes was something else, and Bremner, despite being lifted up, was staring right back at him, just as defiant. Photographers caught this whole thing on camera, and the picture of Mackay holding Bremner up by his shirt, glaring at him, became iconic. It perfectly captured the fierce rivalry and the raw emotion of that era in football. This photo ended up everywhere, newspapers, magazines, you name it. It became one of those images that people associate with the gritty, passionate football of the 1960s. It wasn't just about the physicality. It was about the sheer passion and pride these players had for the game. Even though this confrontation was intense, the game carried on. Both Mackay and Bremner continued to play hard for their teams, showing just how tough they were. This moment didn't escalate into a full-blown fight, but it definitely left a mark on everyone who saw it. It showed just how much neither of them was willing to back down. But what next? Well, despite their fierce on-field battles, there was a deep mutual respect between Mackay and Bremner. They were both Scotsmen who understood the passion and dedication required to succeed at the highest level. Off the field, they shared a professional respect for each other's abilities and contributions to the game. In fact, after their playing careers ended, they often spoke highly of each other. Mackay once said that Bremner was one of the toughest opponents he ever faced, while Bremner acknowledged Mackay's influence and strength as a player. Not only this, Dave hated it, and here's the proof. Mackay often said, "I get asked to autograph that photo all the time, but I don't like it. It makes me look like a bully because I'm bigger than him and I'm lifting him up. But I'm not a bully and I don't like bullies." He had strong feelings about the incident that led to the photo. Bremner was a brilliant player but played dirty. He kicked me right in the leg that I had just recovered from breaking twice. If he had kicked the other leg, maybe I could have shrugged it off, but he didn't, and that really got to me. I was so mad, I felt like I could have unalived him that day. When Mackay wrote his autobiography in 2004, titled The Real Mackay, he chose not to include that famous photograph. And when the Scotsman newspaper featured parts of his book, he was hesitant to let them use the image as well. Sir Alex Ferguson, writing in the foreword of the book, captures the emotion behind the incident. He described Mackay's reaction as similar to being inexplicably kicked by a brother or best friend. According to Ferguson, the look on Bremner's face was one of immediate regret for making a foolish mistake. Ferguson made it clear that Mackay was not the type to play dirty or cynically. He loved football too much to do anything that could tarnish its reputation. He wasn't out there to hurt anyone, although he often found himself on the receiving end of rough play from others. So, that was it. But what lessons were learned from this epic showdown? The Mackay vs Bremner rivalry teaches us a few important things. First, it shows how rivalries can really push athletes to do their best. Both Mackay and Bremner used their rivalry as a driving force, helping their teams reach new heights. Second, it underscores the importance of respect in sports. Even though they were fierce competitors, Mackay and Bremner respected each other. This kind of respect helps keep the game fair and enjoyable. Lastly, their rivalry reminds us that football isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the passion, the challenges, and the stories that come with it. The Mackay vs Bremner rivalry adds a rich layer to the history of football, giving us memorable moments that fans cherish. So, where are they now? Sadly, Dave Mackay passed away on March 2nd, 2015, at the age of 80. His death was a big loss for the football world. People remember him not just for being tough on the field, but also for his leadership and incredible skills. After he stopped playing, Mackay had a successful career as a manager. He led Derby County to win the First Division title in 1975, which was a huge achievement. Even after retiring from playing, he continued to influence football with his coaching and his football philosophy. Not only this, even Billy Bremner passed away on December 7th, 1997, just 2 days before his 55th birthday. His death was a shock and left a huge gap in the hearts of fans and players. Bremner was the heart and soul of Leeds United, and his spirit and drive defined the club during its best years. Bremner's legacy is deeply connected with Leeds United. He led the team to many victories, including 2 league titles, the FA Cup, and a European Cup final. After his playing days, he also managed Leeds United and Doncaster Rovers, though he didn't find the same success as he did on the field. The rivalry between Mackay and Bremner was intense, but it was also built on mutual respect. They are remembered not just for their on-field battles, but for their massive contributions to football. Their legacies live on in the clubs they played for and in the hearts of football fans. Mackay and Bremner showed what it means to play with passion, pride, and a strong commitment to their teams. Their fierce battles on the pitch highlighted their competitive spirit, but off the pitch, they respected each other, showing the best side of sports rivalries. In remembering Dave Mackay and Billy Bremner, we celebrate 2 football giants whose influence and spirit continue to inspire new generations of players and fans. Their stories are an essential part of football history, ensuring their legacies will live on for many years to come. If you enjoyed this story about Mackay vs Bremner and want more deep dives into legendary football moments, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts or suggest another rivalry we should cover next. Let's keep the football spirit alive together.